Dear colleagues, here we are, 20 years after the end of the brutal regime of Saddam Hussein, who used mustard gas against its Kurdish citizens and violently oppressed political dissent. Here we are 20 years after the start of a US-led invasion that paved the way for war crimes, the torture and humiliation of Iraqi prisoners, and a brutal civil war. Here we are 10 years after the withdrawal of the US troops, which led to the rise of the Islamic State and unbelievable brutality. And more than 3 years after young Iraqis took to the streets with slogans like, "We are all Iraqis," while hundreds of them have been killed by Iraqi security forces and Iran-backed militias, and once more, impunity prevails. Yet, how is a country supposed to heal if such crimes go unpunished, when all these stories of suffering are never told or heard? So since the protest movements emerged in autumn 2019, I have visited Iraq several times, listening to women activists in Baghdad, Yazidi families in Dohuk, musicians in Mosul, or human rights activists in Erbil. And many are indeed disappointed and angry that such a peaceful movement calling for reform was brutally crushed by the authorities. But the spirit of the movement lives on, with young people striving for a new Iraq that overcomes religious and ethnic divisions and fights the notorious corruption, depriving a whole generation of its resources and future. And the EU should put a much stronger emphasis on supporting these civil society actors, especially the young generation in Iraq, by supporting their training, giving them new opportunities to build a better homeland and to address the challenges the climate crisis poses on their country. Last year, I was involved in the organization of Mosul Music Festival that was partly funded by the EU and UNESCO in the city. Mosul is the former capital of ISIS, and there we saw women and men playing traditional Iraqi music together with bands from Europe. And there is maybe no better way to chase away the ghosts of terrorism, war, and destruction than music, dance, and exchange.